Hello commanders and YouTube people, Lucky Me is 205 over here, and this time we're gonna review Pocket Battleship, or Panzerschiff if you want to call it, Deutschland, and later on Lutzow from the Iron Blood. Now, if you know, I have done a review video about Deutschland and Graspe in the past, but the reason I'm gonna do a second review is only focused on Deutschland and her Augment module. Now I would like to do a historical references, but about her luck, because some reason it's 72. But I'm gonna add that at the last part of the video. Let's focus on the stats, shall we? Now for an elite heavy cruiser, she has, if you own her, 100%. And let's just say 125 limit break. You can reach 4,000 excuse me, 4,344 HP. Her firepower 322. If we just compare to the rest of the elite heavy cruisers, last time I checked, she has the highest firepower compared to all elite heavy cruisers. Of course, the next comes with the Graspe, and perhaps in the future Admiral Azur, but we have no idea when she comes. Next is her anti-air 166, and that is completely somewhat useful and useless at the same time. She's a heavy cruiser, so she gets a medium armor. She gets torpedoes, 235. Her speed is 22. Her reload is 189. Her evasion, 59. And her accuracy is 142. And now when it comes to the luck stat, let's just say, the ship's luck stat affects the ship's probability of landing and avoiding regular hits and critical hits. It is 72, but I will tell my final opinions about how questionable it can be. Now, as for her gears, she gets main gun. You can have either normal heavy cruiser or really big one, triple 283mm guns from the Iron Blood, or the newest we got from the Kingdom of Tulipa. If I have, no I don't. Let's go with the Misk, yes. With this type of version, the only difference is ammunition, the reload, and damage perhaps, and of course ammunition. As you can see, the older one uses AP and the new one uses HE. There are more details about it, but that's completely on the different video or different conversation. 140, but because I have Augment module, it's 150%, so that way it is respectfully good. Now as for the torpedoes, 130%, and her anti-air gun is 100%. It is not good, but also very decent. Now, let's just say if you limit break her, this says the following. The first limit break is raises 110% to 140% main gun efficiency, torpedo stays 130%, and anti-air gun stays the same. And all-out assault, very nice one. It fires HE. Okay, that's interesting. All-out assault, main gun efficiency plus 5%. Then it gets torpedo base 1, torpedo preload, and main gun efficiency increase. And then it later upgrades the main gun. Excuse me. Upgrades all out assault from 1 to 2. And from here you can see it's mixed on AP ammunition, which seems to hit very hard, and also mix of, seems like smaller caliber 150 I presume, but let's just say secondary guns some reason. Normal ammunition, it doesn't seem to be HE, just normal ammunition. Very interesting indeed. But she doesn't have, according to the information in Azur Lane Wiki, is that she doesn't have Ghost secondary gun. But somewhere mixed on Azur Lane Wiki, there is notification something like some heavy cruisers have Ghost secondary gun, but I am not so sure if the game itself doesn't say this otherwise. Now, with the pocket battleship Deutschland, and this comes with the Augment module. Let's get with the juicy part. The Augment module is Highborn Princess's Command. Very nice gun, I have to admit. Very well detailed. It increases firepower and torpedo to 45 and 25. And rapid triangulation increases this ship main gun efficiency by 10%. The original pocket battleship only says increases own damage against destroyers and light cruisers by 35%. But now with the Augment module at hand, we have pocket battleship Deutschland, which says the following. Increases this ship's damage dealt to destroyers and light cruisers by 35%. If there are other Ironborn ships in the same fleet, increases those ships' firepower, torpedo, evasion, accuracy, and anti-air by 5%. Right at the moment I say it's not much, but it is a nice step forward. At the start of battle, if this ship is in the frontmost position of the vanguard, increases this ship's evasion by 15%, main gun crit rate by 30%, main gun critical damage by 30%, and reduces her damage taken by 25% until the end of battle. Now this part I will say it's very delicious. I mean, how many elite ships do we know have this type of buff? If you add her in the frontmost position. Just evasion 50%, but main gun crit rate and critical damage 30%. I will say if you build fleet correctly, she can actually wrecking stuff. And reduces her own damage taken by 25%, which means it actually is reference to a pocket battleship. She is a Panzer ship. Now, like the last part. If the ship is in any other position, increases this ship's firepower and torpedo by 3% until the end of battle, and fires level 10 special barrage every 50 seconds that penetrate seals. Damage is based on the skills level. Okay, first off, if you don't want to have Deutschland on the front, you just get slight buff to firepower and torpedo, and every 50 seconds fire special barrage every 50 seconds? I have seen this barrage, but I will do other recording just in case to showcase this barrage. But either way, the idea of special barrage that penetrates seals is very welcome. It's a long one, But penetrating shield, something I would rather take. But this also means that Deutschland has now 2 barrages. If I understood correctly, we have all out assault every 6 times her main guns are fired. And now with the pocket battleship Deutschland skill, if you don't want to have her in the front. Which means if we are gonna calculate every 6 times based on this very sluggish main gun with 7 seconds, that's gonna take a good amount of time. But right now, as you can see my build currently, I'm using the old AP gun because I want to utilize damaging heavy cruisers, and with 55 to 6 I know there are better options right now. I have quadruple magnetic torpedoes, but because she can do damage to destroyers and light cruisers, I could, in theory, use this Irish Liberal torpedo, which, because armor modification, it can do some nasty damage to destroyers and light cruisers. Excuse me. Same amount to the heavy cruisers, but light armor really takes the biscuit. Now as for her anti-air, I could use some better ones compared to this quadruple 30mm AA gun. But with the efficient range 30, yeah, I could use some better ones over here. Because this one is with a 100% efficiency, very questionable. I have high performance hydraulic steering gear, increase in evasion and HP, HP every 20 seconds, 30% chance for the ship using this gear to evade all enemy attacks for 2 seconds. Yes, we know that, but also we have magnetic torpedo auxiliary, which says the following: when equipped, turns the first wave of torpedo fire into acoustic torpedoes that deal 5% more damage. Now I am not sure how this actually works, but we will see. But with this loadout, I am very confident to go. And for the fleet, for now, I'm gonna use in this type of fleet. Of course, there are interesting ones right now, but I will change this in my last section of this video. But either way, the introductions is now over, and now I'm gonna say my final opinions about this improved Deutschland with her Augment module. Alright, commanders, Lucky Mia's voiceover over here, and Deutschland. Now Deutschland is a respectfully very old heavy cruiser, Elite 1. She was released 2019 or 20 if I recall correctly from Divergent chessboard. And she has been outplayed every new heavy cruiser, or perhaps she can actually outplay some of them. But the problem is, she was built in an era where things were just simple, in fact. That's henceforth her damage dealing against light cruisers and destroyers by 35% hasn't changed, and not at all perhaps. And when it comes to her special barrage that fires every 15 seconds, well, it's just in a simple play. 3 big shells going with a high velocity forward, actually. I think they can only go that direction where your Deutschland is pointing at. I'm not so sure actually if I can actually manage to edit this video just a bit. You can see the barrage every 15 seconds. It's just simply forward HE heavy barrage. And it says it ignores the shields. Well, penetrates shield, excuse me, every 15 seconds, and damage is based on the skill's level. I think you have, but I can actually manage to think about it. You have options how you want to use Deutschland. You have two options. You can either have her as a tank that deals a lot more damage, critical damage, and actually behaves like a tank. Or you can add her somewhere other option that actually buffs herself and others as well, just by 5%. And just being there. Just a simple word, just bullying low-level enemies, shall I say. That's the thinking that's the point of view I had with the Deutschland. She may be old, she can be outplayed, but with the Augment module, she can be a cheap, effective, event cleaning cruiser. Now, of course, when I say cheap, it's just based on the oil, and she's strong at the end by elite heavy cruiser standards. If you compare her to something like a super rare ships like Prince Heinrich, Prince Adalbert, Friedrich Karl, Aegir. Why the heck do you want to compare Deutschland to Aegir? Aegir can just roll over Deutschland performance easily. Or perhaps the rest of them I actually mentioned. Now, they are expensive. But the Deutschland? She is cheap. Of course you have to dump quite a lot of gold and resources to actually upgrade her to the point you can actually make her very effective heavy cruiser. But that's just a little problem you have to deal with, and it's not that big of a deal. At the end of the day, you can actually get very good elite pocket battleship. And in fact, if you notice in the background footage, I am playing Deutschland manually. One thing that I found out while I was using her before I made this video in Operation Siren, she tend to have, well, shall I say, my autoplay has the behavior to catch every torpedo and enemy shell on the path. So if you play Deutschland as a manual way, she can survive a fair bit longer. And I actually started to have a other point of view, is that she requires you to play her manually. As I mentioned, she can play far better if you are manually playing her. Now, of course, I pronounce those very weirdly, but I hope you get the point. Don't autoplay, just manual play the pocket battleship Deutschland. The more I think about it, it's just like you have Vanguard and a backline fleet, that's the main fleet. You have battleships on the back fleet or aircraft carriers. You can only just by interacting with it, sending commands, but with the Deutschland, she is like a miniature battleship on your hands and you can just play with her manually. which is kind of humorous way, if you think about it, like you're actually playing a battleship, but just a pocket battleship. But the truth is, even if you put her somewhere like exercises, she can be outplayed by those, which is in my personal experience with the current exercises, it's just Torpedo, Lafay, Yinsu or Jinsu meta, and then Eldridge, and whatever there was a Jet, or then well, those PvP meta ships. And Deutschland, no. She has zero chance to be useful in exercises. But on the, shall we say, war archives, or in the war archives, special events, or Operation Siren, well, main campaign has its own problems. But let's just say Operation Siren, War Archives, and special events. In these areas, Deutschland, as a elite, cheap pocket battleship, can dominate. And because he is treating you as a servant, no wonder she demands you to play her manually. And that's how you actually benefit from the Deutschland. Yes, manual play can sometimes be tiresome. That's why the autoplay is always recommended. But there are some ship girls to actually benefit more if you manually play with them, and Deutschland is one of them. That's why I am highly recommending using Deutschland as a powerful and cheap damage dealer in the Operation Siren and War Archives, and in the special events. In these areas she can shine. But if you take her somewhere like map 14 and 15 and 16 in main campaign, did I say 16? And let me tell ya, it's like, well, you're trying to bring something to the main campaign that has the ability to just crush you with no problem. And she is not built in a anti-air required game modes. So she has ups and downs, but I highly recommend using her in the places where she can actually shine. But it is very interesting that the Deutschland actually got the Augment module, I have to admit. Well, I also have to admit that I was wishing that perhaps Deutschland gets the Augment module, or does she ever get the Augment module? And lo and behold, she actually got one. And it is a very interesting one indeed. And which now begs the question, will Crash P get her own Augment module, and what that Augment module is capable of? If Deutschland can actually work as a frontliner, giving buffs to the Vanguard ships and to herself, depending on which position you want to give her or place her, she is very effective to some extent. Now I'm wondering about the Crash Space Augment module. Will the Crash Spear get some kind of special augment module that can actually devastate some medium armor enemies like Exeter, was it? From the was it Scappa Flow? That historical engagement with the Crash Spear, Exeter, Ajax and Achilles, where Exeter just got hammered by Crash Spears. Was it 11 or 12 inch guns? I don't know. Well, 283mm guns. We will see, and I'm actually very curious what Crash Spear is capable of in the future when she gets her own augment module. Just because Deutschland got this very interesting augment module. But as I told you, the luck Deutschland actually got in her historical career, I just say it's either just bad luck or unfortunate luck in her wartime career. Then I pointed out these things what Deutschland actually managed to get hammered by in her wartime career. And these are just based on pocket battleships of the Deutschland class book. And these are the things I actually wanted to point out. A microphone network teared away during naming ceremony. 1937, 2 50-kilogram bombs from 2 aircraft, renamed Lutzow, and Storm causing damage. 1939. Turret damage, 3 15cm hits. Torpedo hit on stern, hit from HM submarine Spearfish. Hit from RAF bomb, but no success to explode. No hit from RAF torpedo, hit from RAF bomb, but no success to explode in 1940. 1941, hit from RAF torpedo causing serious damage. This is from page 53. In 1942, Lutzow grounded in Tjeldsund, was it? At the start of PUK 70 hunt. Minor incident in the keel. GW51B disaster. No merchant ship sunk and Admiral Hipper got damaged. And 1943 and 1945, diesel engine, AA gun sabotage, page 57, 5-ton bomb from British Lancaster, 2 1,000-pound bombs hit but failed, and later scuttled by charges on 3rd or 4th May. So this is basically Deutschland bad luck in her wartime career, but it is very interesting that in the Azur lane her luck stat is 72, while Crash Spear is 30, and I'm actually speculating that the reason is, although Deutschland was very bad in commerce raiding, she bloody hell survived the war just to be scuttled. And what happened to her after the scuttle, to me personally, remains a mystery. But that's all about the Deutschland. What is your opinions about Deutschland? Do you think she is very cheap and powerful by elite standard heavy cruiser? Let me know in comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.
全然しょぼい